Now, we're going to take a look at the stance. So that's the reason why we're so far back in this video. The stance in Wing Chun is designed mainly for culmination of your body's power, especially the lower half of your body's power, into the target. Also so that you can attack and defend down your center. So the way we do it is we start with our feet together, keeping the spine nice and upright. You bend the knees gently. Now, as Carson bends his knees, you can't really see his side position, but what you'll notice is what you'll see if you were where I am, he's not doing this. He's not dropping his hips to bring the knees forward. He's bending the knees as his whole body shifts forward. So the weight is still mostly centered over your feet, but slightly to the front. Now from here, you point your toes outward by pivoting on your heels, and then you point your heels outward by pivoting on your toes. So you end up with bent knees, but with the knees, hip and shoulder in alignment. So there's a nice line here from hip, knee to shoulder, so you have good structural alignment. And a bend in the knees with everything pointing forward. Now, so when I say stance, I'm talking mainly about the legs. So for you guys at home to get a good feeling for it, once again, measure out how we just did it, feet together, bend the knees with the weight coming forward, toes out, heels out. And here, at first you're going to start, most people start to feel a bit of tension in their legs. You want to try and feel a sense of evenness of pressure with your feet. So you're not too far forward, you're not too far backwards, you're balanced over, a nice even pressure on your feet, almost over the center. So, a bit of theory on this. Why do we put our stance like this? Why do we practice the form like this? Why do we do our basic techniques with a stance like this? It does feel a little awkward, and you're in a self-defense situation, you're not going to walk around like this, right? So, one of the first and most primary functions of this stance is to channel your whole body's power into the target. So one of the problems that this stance is overcoming is a lack of power generation. Meaning, this is designed so that even a smaller person or a weaker or older or unfit person can overcome an opponent, which means you need to use maximum body mass, momentum, and power in order to overcome them. So the formation of the leg structure. So if Carson comes and stands here in the middle, please, facing that way, and put your stance on. Just the stance, yeah? So you see how the bend in the legs, the pointing of the toes targets this whole part of his body in towards the center line, right? Now, you're trying to train your legs to have that momentum, that connection, that forwardness into the center of the target of the opponent. Now, thanks, Carson. So you're trying to generate maximum power of the legs towards the target. Now the second component is that because you have your knees and toes pointed slightly inward, your legs are naturally going to come, when you lift your legs are naturally going to come down the center here. So that means if, for example, Carson facing towards me here, if Carson raises his leg naturally, that's from stance, then change his stance. From stance, he raises his leg. See how it straight away comes up the center line between us. Whereas if he points his toes outward, point your toes outward from stance like this, and now raise your leg up. See how naturally it wants to go this way first. So what does that mean? If he goes back in stance, if I go to throw a kick down towards Carson as he raises his leg now, he naturally defends the center. So this positioning gets you used to naturally defending your center, but also launching your attacks straight down the center as well. So it gets you attacking and defending down the center. It gets you targeting your whole body mass into the opponent. It also, because your legs are bent and you're not sitting down and stuck, you're springy and ready to move. So your legs are ready and in an action condition, ready to go. So there's a few of the theory points on the stance. And I look forward to seeing you in our next video.